Hello. My name is Robert Voisey, and welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame. I'm the director of 15 Minutes of Fame. I've been doing this for a while, and I used to put together a lot of concerts of 15 Minutes of Fame on the Composer's Voice concert here in New York City. Over the last year, we have changed our format a little, and now we are doing things online, and this is our first big season, I guess, if you want to call it that. We've got a bunch of 15 Minutes of Fames stacked up here for November. This one is great because we're starting off with this fabulous saxophonist, Drew Hossler. Let's bring him on. Hey, Drew, how's it going, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. I guess we should tell everybody today is going to be a little bit of a low-key day. So look, this whole thing started off in the pandemic, and unfortunately, it rages on. Our engineer is anyway. It's he's going through his stuff and so forth. So we have a whole bunch of recordings of Drew that we did earlier this week, right?
Yes, yeah. For our dress rehearsal, we recorded it, and that is what you'll be hearing.
And so we'll be playing those. I'll be premiering here live, and then, Drew and I will be talking to you about the project, about some of the pieces and the composers, and we will be scanning the comments. So if anybody wants to ask a question to Drew or to I, or about one of the pieces, or to one of the composers, that'll be great. We'll be going through and just asking some of those questions and so forth. Meanwhile, let's Drew, so why don't you first tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So, my name is Drew Hossler. I'm a saxophonist currently based out of the Midwest, Michigan, Ohio, depending on the day. I am currently a graduate student at the University of Michigan, pursuing a master's music in saxophone performance, master's music in chamber music, and a certificate in arts entrepreneurship and leadership. In addition to that, I do some arts administration work. I'm currently the assistant managing director for the Cleveland Uncommon Sound Project. I work for the Alliance for the Arts and Research Universities as one of their graduate student staff assistants, and I'm an intern with the Acropolis Reed Quintet. I did my undergraduate degree at Bowling Green State University. I graduated back in 2020, pandemic graduation. It was great. This program is going to be featuring the tenor saxophone, which is something that is near and dear to my heart. I kind of fell in love with the tenor saxophone back in high school. It was an instrument that I felt like was very ignored in soloistic playing. We always talk about alto, we always talk about soprano, but we never talk about tenor. So kind of my goal over the past couple of years of my career has really been to try and commission new works for the tenor saxophone by just a variety of composers. And this set for 15 Minutes of Fame and our next set, which will be on the 20th, will have 30 new fantastic tenor saxophone pieces, and it will really show the diversity of what can be written. So,
yeah, and I guess that's a good segue for what is 15 Minutes of Fame. So 15 Minutes of Fame is 15 one-minute works that are written specifically for musicians. So last year, I met Drew, and we talked about putting out a call for works, and and seeing what we could get, and we got a bunch.
Yeah, I remember when after you sent me the long list of pieces, there were over 90 submissions, I think, something along those lines, and I remember you saying, all right, pick 15 pieces, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I can't pick 15. There's no way I can narrow this down to 15, so we were brainstorming some ideas and decided to turn it into two concerts, the first 15 of which you'll hear today.
Excellent. And Drew, remind me, how do we meet?
So the first piece actually you'll hear is by composer David Bohn. I've worked with David a couple of times in the past, especially with my new music ensemble, The Blank Experiment. He wrote us a piece back my junior year of undergrad that we premiered for tenor saxophone and harp, and a piece that we premiered just a couple of months ago for saxophone, oboe, and clarinet. So we were just kind of chatting about this second piece, and he sent some video, I believe it was a flute video from 15 Minutes of Fame. And I remembered 15 Minutes of Fame back from when the Admiral Launch Duo did it a couple of years ago. I know the players in that, and I was very excited to see that. So when David sent this, I was like, I know this. This is awesome. This is so cool. I did not know they had more material out there. So he was like, I know the director of it. And a few seconds later, I get a notification with a group chat started of the three of us. And we started chatting away, and here we are, months and months later.
And here we are. And I think it's time to play some music. Why don't we play David Bohn's piece?
I agree.
I'm gonna say is the name of it, but I'm gonna butcher it. Funquesquian. I am sure he has a very interesting. Oh wait. A very interesting thing about that's another flashback to my high school days, filtered through 35 years of experience. I think that adequately describes the name. So here's David Bohn's piece, Funquesquian. Fabulous.
Yes, and I think I see a comment in here, Funk Squonk, from David.
Funk Squonk. There we go.
So, thank you, David. I was wondering if you'd be in one of the comment sections and help us out there.
And you know what? So I also, for all those who are out there doing the chatting and so forth, I sent a link to Drew's page on Vox Novus for 15 Minutes of Fame, and so you can sort of follow along with us. We're going to go in alphabetical order, and let's play the next four pieces here by Utsyo Chakraborty. No, I said that wrong. Philip Czaplowski and Marcello de Russo, and we'll wrap it up with Jeffrey Hoover. Here we go. Wonderful, wonderful. Great playing, Drew.
Thank you so much.
So we were talking about all the pieces that you got. I had been taking kind of a break from producing and so forth in general, and it was every once in a while there'd be a request for when's 15 Minutes of Fame coming back, but it was always I wasn't really sure, like, when you come back to the fold, so to speak, are you going to be accepted and so forth? And like you said, you got a lot of pieces. There are a lot of works from new composers I haven't seen before and so forth, and then a couple of I would say 1 minute regulars that David Bohn being one of those for sure.
Yes.
So. How about you? How many of the people did you know from this group? I mean, did you recruit people or blast it out? What was?
Yeah. So, no, I would say the same thing for me. Like, there were some people that I was like, okay, they told me that they would apply. I had friends of mine message me and say, hey, like, I just submitted something for this. And then I had some friends of mine who I did not know submitted something, but very pleasantly surprised to see that they did. Of the group you're going to hear today, maybe 5 or 6 I knew beforehand. But it was also so great getting to hear so many other composers from all over the world, too. Like, it really was a super varied and diverse group of people who submitted works, which was just so awesome. One of the pieces, actually, of the next group they are going to hear, I know 2 of the composers. The first one, Janay, and her piece, A Melodic Haiku. I know Janay, we met back at the, before COVID times at the Midwest Conference in Chicago. She's a member of the Millennial Composers Initiative, and I kind of met her through that booth. She was one of the composers who I was very pleasantly surprised she wrote something. I did not expect her to, but it was very awesome to see what she did. We worked together on a piece for tenor saxophone and piano a little bit ago, a short work, My Darling Pearl, which I've recorded with pianist Liz Ames, and we're going to be releasing on my upcoming solo album entitled Delta Waves. If you want to hear more about that, you can check it out on my website. There's a tab at the top that'll tell you more about that. And another composer in this next group that I know, Tyler Mazone. He is currently at Michigan State. A friend of mine who I've met through the social media verse. We've not had the chance to meet in person yet, but we've had many Facebook conversations and many Zoom calls and things. He's a composer who we've written for the Blank Experiment, like David, premiered 2 of his works for the Blank Experiment, and now there will be this one, Socially Awkward. So, yeah.
And, why don't you tell us a little bit about what the Blank Experiment is? Yes,
I would love to. I see one of my fellow Blank Experiment members here in the chat. So, the Blank Experiment, we're a new music chamber ensemble based mostly out of Michigan. We formed back in 2017 as a saxophone, clarinet, harp trio. I know, very standard instrumentation. We just happen to all be friends. Michelle Myers and Natalie Pate, the other 2 original members, They both went to Michigan State. I went to Bowling Green, but we all knew each other from the Flint Institute of Music, which is like a K-12 music learning. It's not like a actual school. You go there after school. But we all took lessons there. We were all part of the Flint Youth Symphony Orchestra there. So randomly one day I got a text from Michelle saying, "Hey, you remember Natalie? You want to play in a trio?" And I'm like, that instrumentation doesn't exist. So that made me even more excited for it. But since we've gone through a couple of different revisions, and now we sit as a 5-person ensemble, myself, Michelle Myers on clarinet, Ava on oboe, Danielle, who I believe is in the chat, on harp, and then Maya on bassoon. You can check us out on social media. We've had a couple of various web premieres over the past couple of months, and we have a couple more coming up of some really cool composers, including Tyler's piece, which just went live, if you want to hear what he ended up having to write for us, and then David's piece, which we premiered a couple of weeks ago.
Great. And why don't we listen to some more pieces? Actually, another we've got Shigeru Kano, excuse me, another 1-minute veteran. Janay Maisano coming up, Tyler Mazone, Eileen McLaughlin, and Hanee Park. So let's start with Shigeru's. Bravo. Excellent.
Thank you.
So, Drew, let me ask you about what you think about short form, right? I mean, 15 Minutes of Fame is definitely one of the kings of like just 1 minute pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They're short and concise, and I mean, opposed to like playing longer pieces.
I'm not sure if it's because I'm a saxophonist or because I like focusing on new music, but I like the idea of short pieces. I really do. I think short pieces are something that, first off, can just be added to any program. So I really don't see the excuse for not having a diverse, all-encompassing recital at this point. Like, this recital will prove there's 15 phenomenal 1-minute pieces that anyone can throw on a program. And that's something that I love about short pieces. Plus, going to a concert for an hour and a half, some people aren't able to do that. I mean, and I'm sure I've been to concerts that are 2+ hours. So I think just nice, short, concise pieces. I think like all of these pieces are still very dense. They're still pieces that have meaning. They're not just notes randomly sprawled on a page. And something that I also love, not only about this set of 15, but the next set of 15, is they're all so different. Like,
Right.
all of these composers took this prompt of writing a 1-minute piece for unaccompanied tenor saxophone, and they took it in so many different directions. Everything from elevator music, having me actually hit my fingernails on the bell of the instrument, to something like a melodic haiku, which is just absolutely gorgeous, pretty writing with no extended techniques whatsoever. And I think both of them do an absolutely fantastic job at showcasing what the saxophone can do.
Right. Yeah, I think I think there's a lot to explore in sort of the short thing. I know. So this project actually is spin off of 60 by 60. So I've been doing this since short pieces since 2003. And a lot of people were like, talking about the attention span being so short, and people that, and I don't see it as an attention span thing, of more as, we're exposed to a lot of different media all over the place all the time, and it's more about absorbing a lot of different things as fast as we can, actually.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and so so when you were approaching, okay, so these pieces are in alphabetical order. Do you think that it matters the sort of program order, or is it just kind of a potpourri of like things coming from all over the place?
I mean, I like how you describe it in the second way. Like, I like how it's going from one idea to the next idea. So there's something for everybody. If you like the crazy extended technique music, which I love, then there's something for you. If you don't like that and you like very pretty, melodic, more traditional writing, there's something for you too. And I also love that music. Right. And also, I mean, going with the whole just like idea of short pieces, like something else I like is there's 15 composers on this concert. Like, that's awesome. It's so awesome seeing like all these comments with all of the composers on here, because most concerts you don't get 15 composers to be on that concert. Like, I have a recital coming up on Friday, a degree recital that's going to be probably somewhere between an hour and a half long, and there's 5 pieces on it.
Right.
Like, once you get one 30-minute piece, there's half the concert.
Right.
So this way, with short pieces, we're able to really just come together, especially in like still in this COVID time. It's so nice that we're all able to come together and just celebrate new music and celebrate each other and all these cool pieces.
And and let me talk to you about that too. So what also do you think about? I mean, okay, so to be honest, you're a little younger, so you've probably done a lot more of the streaming concerts.
Yes.
In definitely. Comparatively, if you want to put weight, I've done more live concerts than I've done streaming. So this is just the beginning. How do you think of the performance aspect of performing live, on streaming and via the internet, composed to being actually in the hall? I mean,
I do like both of them. Like, I still am a person who loves to go to an in-person concert and afterwards, mingle with the performers, the composers. Like, that, I still find that very enjoyable, but I love the accessibility of online concerts. Like, just think of this program. Like, the last couple pieces we heard, there's a composer in Florida, there's a composer in Michigan, there's a composer in California, and we're all able to be here.
Right.
Like, that's something that couldn't happen with in-person concerts. Like, it's more accessible, at least having an online option, which is something that I'm really trying to push for in concerts that I'm doing from here on out, to at least offer an online version. Maybe for people who are still very afraid of COVID and don't want to go out, some people who may live across the country. Like, the idea of online concerts, I think, is just more accessible. I still love going to concert halls. I still am doing live in-person concerts, and that's something great to get to go back to doing that. They're just different atmospheres.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think this is part of the new music sort of future.
Yes.
My collaborator at Virtual Concert Halls always talks about the hybrid concert, and I think that's what our future is going to be like. I'm looking forward to how much we can sort of push the realm. I feel like everybody talks this about a Zoom call. I don't really see this as like a Zoom. I think of it more as a sort of an opportunity to embrace media.
Yes, no, I totally get that. And I mean, something else, like in our traditional Western art music, even like contemporary music concerts, you sit there, your hands in your lap, and you clap between pieces, not between movements, only between pieces.
Right.
But like here, like, look at the chat. People are commenting during pieces. People are saying what they think. Like, you can't shout out, "I love that piece" in the middle of a concert, but you can do that here.
Right.
Which is something that I really like.
And dialogue about the piece itself. Like, there might be something that people can sort of reveal about the work, from what they're hearing in real time, right?
Yeah, almost like live program notes. Like, that's something I have seen before, kind of like hybrid in-person virtual. Something my undergrad band program did is they actually live tweeted program notes throughout the concert, which was something that I at the time was like, that's such a weird concept. But now in this post-COVID world where more things are becoming hybrid, it was very ahead of its time. It was something I thought was very cool.
Right. Well, so let us play the final five here, and we'll wrap up. The people we got on deck here is Edward RosenBerg, Juan Maria Solare, another old-time veteran of 15 Minutes of Fame, Shahrzad Talebi, Roger Vogel, and P. Kellach Waddle. And why don't we just start off with Edward RosenBerg. Here we go. Wow, what a beautiful performance! Great,
Thank you.
great,
Thank you
great
so
job.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
I can't wait to hear the next 15.
Yes, yes, I'm super excited for it. 2 weeks, 15
2 weeks.
more 1 minute tenor pieces.
November 20th, right?
Yes.
2 p.m.
Yep.
2 p.m. So different time for anybody who's putting this on their calendars. We've got a lot of upcoming performances, but yeah, Drew, it's been awesome. I'm looking for the next one coming up, and hopefully we'll do some more in 2022.
Yes.
We've got anyway, things are grinding in the works slowly but surely. The big old freight train keeps going down, right?
You know it.
And yeah, so I want to thank everybody for being part of this. Especially thank you for all the composers. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you all. Thank you all
for submitting your pieces and putting in your works, and just being a part of supporting the musicians like Drew and this project here. It's great to get your work out and heard by more and more people. Next week we're working on a string quartet production that will also be on next Saturday at 2 p.m. We'll be playing string quartets that we called for. With Drew will be going on November 20th in 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we have Tom Piercy's clarinet and hichiriki. Actually, next week will be all 15 clarinet pieces. He's also doing, and he took your lead, Drew, doing double sets.
That's awesome.
I love it. It's getting, like you said, 15 composers, but why not 30? Or maybe
exactly.
Or 45 or 60. Yeah. In fact,
90. Why not?
Or 90, right? And you know what? And any composers that are out there listening and so forth, we were talking about David Bohn. He's an organist, and he has a current call out there for 1 minute pieces for organ. He's actually done several of these, so I strongly urge people to submit for that. And meanwhile, I don't know if anybody has any questions for Drew or I. It would be go ahead and hit the chat. We'd love to answer you.
David is saying toy piano.
Yes, I'm so glad he reminded me. David is also doing a call for toy piano, which I strongly urge people to write for. It's a fabulous instrument. It's unique, and I think it fits the sort of 1 minute just perfectly for that. Both you can see both of these calls up on Music Avatar. I think we've put up the toy piano call already, but if not, it will be up there soon. But David Bohn's organ call is there. And we will be there's lots more announcements coming on for Composer's Voice and Vox Novus and 15 Minutes of Fame. We've got a lot more like that's in the hopper with Craig Hultgren and and Alice Alkins for flute. That's coming up. When is that? That's Black Friday. We've got a performance coming up with Black Friday for flute for 15 Minutes of Fame. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Don't stay up too late with your Black Friday shopping.
Yes.
Is what we're saying.
Or you know what? Hit the parking lot and just take a 15-minute break.
The 1-minute pieces.
Meanwhile, I just want to thank Virtual Concert Halls for hosting us here and doing a thing. I think do I have a little animation for them? Let's do that. And yeah, you know what? Someone in the chat is looking for it. I am sorry that it's on Music Avatar, the call for David Bohn.
Yeah, it looks like there is no organs call. There's just the piano
It
call.
is just, yes, it's on Music Avatar. And you know what? Let me give me 10 seconds. So, Drew, thank you.
Yes, thank you, and thank everyone for coming. Thanks to all the composers. I would love to hear thoughts from everyone. Feel free to message me on the various social medias. Everything can be found on my website.
Yeah,
love to hear from you.
You know what? And let me close off with that too. So, what do you think of this format just to meet composers? Right? I mean, how do you meet composers in general? Like, in general. When you're just out there playing?
Honestly, so many people I've met have been over social media. Social media is a great networking tool. It's something that, is simultaneously a curse, but also a blessing. And even just this collaboration, so many of these pieces have helped me actually talk to these composers who I've never talked with before. So many of them, we have future plans. Like Tyler and I are going to kind of expand this work into a larger one. So, no, I mean, social media is awesome, I think, for networking and things. I've met so many great friends and awesome collaborators through that. Awesome.
Great. Well, thank you again, Drew, and thank you everyone for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, thank you all so much.
Bye. Thank you.